Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone had a good first week of learning. And we'll be wrapping up our US history material for the week today. So before we get going, I just want to hit on some reminders and then some reflections from what I've seen so far. So reminders, homework one, uh, classwork one, classwork two, were all due up until this point. So homework one was the syllabus, classwork one was who came to the American colonies, classwork two was the relationship between Native Americans and European colonists. So all of those are due. I will have all those graded with feedback for you, um, posted on Google Classroom and Pupil Path by the time you view this video. Okay, so some reflections from the work so far in this Colonial America unit. Okay, so something that we've done really well is responding to document analysis questions. You guys have done a good job of turning questions into sentence starters. A lot of students are highlighting the text, which is great. I encourage you, if you're not doing that, highlight the text where the answer is. Then we're just pulling out the answer and plugging it in. Okay, so the document analysis questions are being done very well across the board. One thing I do want to point out, and I would say maybe not half, but a good amount of students are still not completing all parts of the assignment. And this might be one do now question. It might be a question within working with a primary source, or it's maybe the summary task is not fully being completed. But we want to make sure when we're doing these assignments, we are getting through everything that's being asked. And that's just to make sure we're practicing and working on these skills while also learning the content. Something that I do want to point out that is kind of a weakness I'm seeing across the board is that we want to make a shift to summarizing document info in our own words. Okay? What we're seeing a lot of is people are putting long quotes and then moving on to something else in their responses. So the sources give us information. When we write and use that source material, we want to summarize what the source says in our own words and cite the source. So if I'm summarizing, and it came from Doc 1, well, I just want to cite the source at the end there, but we don't want long quotes in our writing, okay? Especially when we take the regions, we want to prove we understand what the source is saying, putting it into our own words, then analyzing it afterwards. So those are kind of some takeaways, and a lot of the comments I put match up with those. But those are all things that we're really going to be making a focus throughout the year. So now what we're going to be shifting into is our work for today. Okay, so we see our aim for today, and it says, how can we summarize the connection between geography and economic output for the three colonial regions? Okay, so today we're making a connection between geography and economic output. And remember, when we talk about geography, we are talking about the various structures and environments you encounter in the world. Okay, so when we're talking about geography, we're talking about weather, climate, we're talking about access to rivers, oceans, lakes, etc. And what we're really trying to do is trying to figure out, how do these things lead to the money being made in the three colonial regions? So we've focused on, so far in this unit, the fact that Europeans are coming to the colonies, Native Americans are already there, they're having issues. And then today we're going to be looking at, well, how do those colonists start to make money, and how does the geography impact that? Okay, so one thing before we move on I want to highlight is the three colonial regions. Okay, and the three colonial regions we have are New England, the northernmost colonies. This is modern day Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island. We have the middle colonies, which geographically is in the middle. It's New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then we have the southern colonies. Okay, so we're going to look at those regions today to try to figure out what's the geography and how does that impact how these regions make their money. So for the do now, okay, it's a series of questions. I know they might seem a little silly at first, but we are building to understanding something here for the do now. So take a pause in the video, answer these questions on your handout, and try to think through what we might be getting to. Okay, so at this point, when you come back from the video, this first section should be done. Next, what we're going to be moving on to is a short text passage that's focusing on the geography of the colonies. So as we have done in the past, first step, I want us to read those questions. Second step, create a sentence starter. Third step, we're actually going into the text, we're underlining. And then fourth is you're taking that underlining and plugging it in after the sentence starter, okay? So same steps we've been doing with primary source material, we're just gonna be using for secondary source material today. And you'll see that these questions are really kind of the W questions we are focusing on. So the first question is looking at who, second question is what, when, and why. And one of the things we're really going to keep practicing is our ability to identify historical context. And the W questions are a great entry point for that. So that's what we are practicing today. So let's follow those steps, work through the reading, work through the text, and then meet me at the chart when you are done. Okay, so now we're at the chart. This is going to be our last part of the activity today. And what this chart is focusing on is trying to figure out how the geography of the colonial regions connects to their economic output. How are these colonial regions that are just kind of being established going to make their money? So what this does is it identifies the three colonial regions: New England, Middle, and Southern. And for each, you are going to be looking at what are the top three products this region makes. What are two geographic conditions of this region? And then one sentence that's summarizing the economic focus of the region. And the reality is you want to make sure that what you have here is added with what you have here to create your summarizing sentence. Okay, so you should be probably addressing the geography, connecting it to the products that are being made, and creating that summarizing sentence. So you're going to be doing that for all three regions. And how you're going to be doing that is you have these pie charts that are provided. And you also have brief portions of text for each region. So the pie charts are going to help you out for the products that are created. And the text is going to help you out with the geography of the region. Okay, so you have all the resources you need to complete this chart. All right, I want to stress, when we focus on this chart, we can list out products, we can kind of list out geographic conditions. This last column should be full sentences. Okay, we do not have a summary task today, but we do want to make sure that we are responding to this chart fully. As always, if you have questions or concerns about the assignment, please join your class's office hours on Friday. I'll be here the whole day ready to assist you guys out. If I don't speak to you on Friday, I hope you have a great weekend. We do have Monday off, so we'll be posting again on Tuesday, picking up on our study of the American colonies. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and I will talk to everyone soon.